Hello, everyone. Welcome to ELI, the only podcast in India where we bring a new entrepreneur on every episode to talk about their journey and their story of building a startup. And today we have with us Krishan Mishra, who is the CEO of FPSB India, which offers globally recognized certificates like the Certificate Financial Planner or the CFP certificate, and is the leading financial planning body in India and is dedicated to establishing and upholding professional standards in financial planning throughout India. Hi, Krishnan. Welcome to ELI.
Hi, Priranjan. So good to meet you finally. Yeah.
Likewise. Yeah. So, Krishnan, can you brief us a bit about before we start talking about FPSB? Would love to hear about your journey. Please introduce yourself, especially talking about your background. Where all did you study and work, and how have you arrived at FPSB?
Sure. Thanks, Priranjan. It's a very important question. I think my life has been very different from the normal people. I was born in a place called Jammu, and since then I'm traveling because my dad served the Indian Army. So I studied at various places in the country, did my 10th from a place called Jodhpur in Rajasthan, 12th from a place called Misamari, which is very close to the Arunachal Pradesh border in Assam, and then did my graduation, which is Bachelor's in Business Administration from Indore. Further to that, I went to Entrepreneurship Development Institute of India, Ahmedabad, did my PGDM from there in entrepreneurship. So, and after that, I did another MBA from Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, IIFT.
Mhm.
So, education-wise, this is what I had done, and then finally, I ended up getting into the financial services industry. Started my career in life insurance, and later on moved to general insurance. I used to manage various large-size banks. At one point in time, I have managed around 22 banks, and some of the banks at national level also. However, when I used to go to the staff training colleges of these banks and meet the probationary officers, what I understood is that I'm not meant for financial services to sell a product, but I'm more meant for education. And that was the reason I decided to shift from the financial services industry to education. Initially managed a UK-based certification for accounting, and then a US-based certification for accounting, and finally I joined FPSB India. Obviously, FPSB India was looking forward to a CEO who has got a good understanding and a balance of financial services as well as education, and I had both of them, so I was lucky enough to get that opportunity. I've been here for now 2 years. I started with FPSB India as a CEO on August 1, 2023.
Hmm. Got it. Uh, can you educate our listeners about, by telling what is FPSB India, what does it do, and how does it fit into the I think FPSB is a global network. It is present in every country. It's a leading certification body in financial planning. So tell us about its legacy, when it was started, how it has evolved over the years, and what role does it play in India?
Sure. However, before I do that, let me take you back to our own history, right?
Sure.
So 2300 years back, Chanakya wrote a book called Arthashastra. In that book, he spoke about wealth management, he spoke about budgeting, he spoke about taxation for the king as well as the people who used to live in the kingdom. Right?
Mhm.
So financial planning actually started 2300 years back. The modern financial planning practically started as a profession in the year 1969. So it's been approximately around 56 years that is this profession has been there. I would say this is the one of the most youngest profession
Mm.
when it comes to finance and accounting. In fact, accounting started more than, I would say, 120 years back. And then you have legal, you have medicine, all these professions. However, financial planning became a profession in 1969. In
Wow.
fact, the first set of CFP professionals, the Certified Financial Planner professionals, came in the year 1973. Yeah, so they have been there for now more than 52 years. And I'll tell you how it evolved is that when accounting was started in US,
Mm.
obviously everybody, when US starts something, the other countries follow,
Yeah.
right? So when US started, Canada started, UK started, India started. In fact, we got our chartered accountancy in the year 1949 under
Mhm.
the CA, right? So like this, accounting was there across the world. People felt that we also need to talk about finance now because in accounting, we look at the balance sheet and a P&L account on a particular date for an organization, and it
Mm.
is more of a backward-looking function.
Right.
So finance is practically more of a forward-looking function, wherein you look at getting the funds for the organization, right? You also look at managing the funds well. You also look at growing the funds so that your stakeholders are happy. right? So finance is more of a forward-looking function. But the good thing is that finance is needed before accounting, during accounting, after accounting also,
Hmm.
right? So it actually works in that way. So corporate finance as an area was identified in the year 1960, right? When you saw CFA coming into effect, right? So
Mhm.
CFA was created in 1960. However, there was a good debate which was coming up that, okay, we are talking about the corporate finance. What about the personal finance of an individual? And in that way, 1969, this was formed.
Okay.
And then obviously FPSB, Financial Planning Standards Board, was formed in the year 2004. In fact, we completed our 20 years last year only, and this year we are going to celebrate the 21st year
Hmm.
anniversary. This was created why? Because we wanted to have an organization which can actually set standards for financial planning worldwide. Because when in the year 1973 CFP certification was started in US, then other countries started following the same, and it started moving to say Canada, UK, India, Australia, New Zealand, Africa markets, right? So and then the entire Asia Pacific, including China, Japan, Hong Kong, etc. So the certification obviously moved around the world. However, each country had their own way of conducting the exam, their own way of giving the curriculum, their own way of, I would say, looking at how the pass rates are defined and how the certification is defined in the market. However, we said that, okay, if we have to make it a global profession, time for us to standardize this, right? And that is the reason why FPSB came into effect. This program clearly teaches you the areas which are not there in the education system only.
Hmm.
So we actually ask you to go through modules like investment planning,
Okay.
retirement, insurance and tax planning, estate planning, which is really a very, very important subject. Your own risk management, because when you study risk management in an MBA or any other qualification, that risk management is more of a business risk management, not your personal risk management. So we teach the personal risk management also, right? And we practically ask you to go ahead and prepare a financial plan based on a case study and then finally write the CFP examination. The
Hmm.
process is quite rigorous because you have to first go through education, then examination, then ethics, and then finally experience, right? So you also need to have experience to become a CFP professional. So it's a very, I would say, a full-fledged professional course, which
Hmm.
actually makes you able and capable enough to ensure that you are able to make practically a difference in the lives of people at large.
Got it. I'm also assuming there is no prerequisite to pursue CFP course because I mean there are some courses like the CFA, CMA, and all. They have a certain threshold. You cross that, at least you have a bachelor's degree in commerce or something. Then you can pursue those courses. So is there something like that?
It's a very interesting question. See, financial planning is for everyone,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you're a doctor, you need financial planning. If you're an engineer, you need financial planning. Yeah, you might be running a temple, you need financial planning. You might be in a factory, you need financial planning. So it's a pervasive function like water.
Mm-hmm.
That is why people from any walk of life can come into our course. So you might be from science, humanities, commerce, doesn't matter. But yes, you need to have a minimum qualification to start the course. So 10 plus 2 is the minimum qualification to start the course. However, you cannot finish the course before graduation because we are a postgraduate level qualification. So you need to have graduation mandatorily before you apply for the CFP designation. And then, obviously, there are two pathways through which people can join the course. One is a regular pathway after 12th, and there's a fast track pathway which has been created for people who are, say, accountants, who are CFAs, who might be MBAs from the top business school, and they have got the experience also, minimum 3 years of work experience in the field of financial services. Then they can apply for the fast track pathway, right? So these two pathways work really well for people. So one is education and experience. We respect that. And this two, second is that people from any walk of life can come and do the course. However, minimum requirement is 12th pass and then obviously graduation before you are able to apply for the designation.
Hmm. Got it. How has talking in Indian context, how has been the acceptance from different stakeholders, like government? For example, if you talk about a CA certification, I think it has some credibility even in the government also recognizes this. If you are in a legal case, you can say that one CA has audited my balance sheet, and so they bring a certain credibility. Uh, what did you say in same context about CFP certification?
Sure, sure. And before I do that, let me tell you how financial planning actually evolved in India
Yeah.
and why CFP certification came to India, right? So it's like Priranjan, if you look at 70s, right? Uh, People used to earn money in hundreds. Yeah, their salaries were in hundreds. I'm getting 200 rupees, 800 rupees, 500 rupees. That was the salary for people in those years. However, when we came to 80s and 90s, it moved to thousands. And come 99, 2000, people started talking about CTCs in lakhs, right? And come 2020, post that, people have started talking about CTCs in crores. So earnings have been improving for people, right? So things have evolved over the years. However, we as an economy have been a saver's economy. Yeah. We used to earn money first, then worry where to spend. If you look at our grandparents and others, right? So they used to buy their first car after their retirement, first house after retirement, daughter's marriage after retirement, because used to get a good corpus of funds through your PF and the other things that you had. However, there were no financial products only. Very limited set of financial products were there in 80s and 90s. Stock markets opened, but people had a lot of fear
Mm-hmm.
that if I invest, what will happen to my money? You have seen what has happened with the Harshad Mehta scam,
Right.
and followed by Satyam, followed by Enron, and then the financial crisis. So many things happened in India. And people had a fear that should I get into the market, not get into the market, what should I do? In fact, when in 2001, mutual fund industry started, the first year, the total AUM for the entire industry was 1 lakh crore. And today we do more than 1 lakh crore every month. Yeah,
Right.
that's the scenario which has come. In fact, the mutual fund industry, as per 31st May 2025 data, is 72.2 lakh crore,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it is going to grow very, very fast further. So what is happening is India has awakened now. I would say because of the rise in income, also rise in the financial products and the understanding towards the financial products.
Mm-hmm.
However, the advice has been a challenge in India because we have got various set of people who give us advice, right?
Right.
In fact, people give you unqualified advice more than the qualified advice.
Yes.
Yeah, so unqualified, like for example, if you go and watch a cricket match in a stadium, you'll see that there'll be two people talking that if I would have been there on the ground, I would have hit this ball out of the park, which
Mm-hmm.
Virat Kohli could not do. But I would have done it well, or maybe I would have bowled this person out. But these two people never played cricket. In a
Right.
similar way, you have people who give you advice who never invested themselves, right? Who have not done anything for investments or for their own insurance, etc. So practically, they come and give you advice for their own benefit to make money.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, for you, your father, your brother, mother, husband, anybody can become an advisor, right?
Right.
They might say that, okay, just go and do it. But it's your hard-earned money. So you need to ensure that you are able to understand it better for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And financial education is not there because if you look at the latest data as per Reserve Bank of India, December 2024, India has got 42% of the people who are financially literate and only 4% are financially educated. So that's a challenge. Now, what is our status, right? So when we started off, obviously financial planning was considered as a luxury. Practically, people used to say that it is only for wealthy, right? But there is a difference between wealth management and financial planning. That
Mm-hmm.
wealth management is for people who are elite. Financial planning is for everyone. It's like water. If I'm thirsty, I need water. In the similar way, if I want to manage my life better, I need a financial plan.
Mm-hmm.
We obviously executed. Now, regulations, governments, everything evolved. So in 1998, 99, when FPSB came to India for the first time, we came with the concept of fiduciary, which is fee-based advisory, right? And the advisory has to be fiduciary only. It cannot be anything else. We say that we are consultants. We are not sellers. We are like general physician doctors, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wherein we go and give advice like a consultant. So initially, there were no recognitions. I would accept it. There were no recognitions because we have got different regulators to recognize different areas that we cover. So SEBI regulates investments, then you have RBI for banking, right? You have MFI for mutual funds. You
Mm-hmm.
have got IRDA for the insurance, PFRDA for pensions, right? So different regulators are there. However, this year itself, in the month of April, we got our first regulatory approval from International Financial Services Centers Authority, the first unified financial services regulator of the country in Gift City. So right now, in case there's a CFP professional, they can very well go ahead and become a principal officer in any of the firms which are coming in the Gift City. They can
Wow.
also become a distributor. They can be an investment advisor, right? And in fact, they can, in case they have a capability, they can go and start their own funds. That's the way in which the Gift City is evolving. So that's something which is already there on cards. Now CFP professionals can become financial education trainers as per the new directive given by NCFE, National Council of Financial Education. You know that NCFE has been created by all the four regulators, SEBI, IRDA, PFRDA, and
Yes.
RBI. Yeah, and they recognize CFP professionals to become financial education trainers there. We work very closely with NISM, which is SEBI's institution, and we have very recently launched a new postgraduate program in financial planning. The first batch started in the month of April with 37 students who carry an experience between 8 to 18 years. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so that has already happened. Some of the recognitions which we have now are with the top business schools of the country, including the IIM Ahmedabad, Bangalore, and Lucknow. Yeah, we work very closely with them. We also work with IFT, Sydenham Institute of Management Studies and Research in Mumbai, which is SIMSRI, KJ Somaya, right, and SP Jain. So we have got some of the best of the institutions which are known to everyone, including IIM Ranchi, which came on board very recently. And then the corporates. SBI is our partner now, State Bank of India, the largest bank of the country. We work very closely with HDFC, AMC, Motilal Oswal, and various other corporates to give the industry recognition. So there is a very strong industry recognition for the certification, one regulatory recognition right now, and then obviously the various other partnerships that we have, which are actually helping the profession to grow and the people who are in this field to grow. So I just wanted to share something that as we have got doctors and teachers who are called noble professionals. In the similar way, a CFP professional is also into a very noble profession, wherein they are able to change the lives of people. We don't sell, we educate people. And when we educate, people buy. They are not sold something. So there is no push for them to buy a product. It's more of a pull wherein they understand and go ahead and take the right decisions for themselves. That's the power of this profession and the professionals who are there in the market.
Got it. Uh, just one keyword from your what you just said. We don't sell, we just educate. I think I was speaking to another founder who mentioned one critical aspect of this whole concept of financial planning, financial planner. So there is some regulatory guideline that you as a financial planner you cannot sell products of other companies. You can only advise and take a commission only when there is a certain value you generate for the person that you are advising, and you cannot take referral bonuses from the products that you are investing in, maybe it a mutual fund or insurance or anything like that. How
Correct.
is that? Can you explain that aspect? Yeah.
Okay, so what happens is if CFP professionals need to sell, they take the right licenses. Like, for example, if they have to sell an investment product, they take the RIA license, which is the Registered Investment Advisor from the SEBI. If they
Mm-hmm.
have to sell an insurance product, they become insurance advisors. If they have to sell a retirement NPS as a product, they'll become retirement advisor. And if they're working for a bank, obviously, whatever certifications and licenses which are needed to work for the bank, they go ahead and take that. See, a CFP professional is above all of them. For me, the rest of the things which I mentioned, wherein people do transactions, it's like pharmacists. You go to a shop and ask that, okay, I have got fever. They will give you Crocin or say Dolo or whatever is needed. However, on the other hand, if you're coming to a CFP professional, this professional will tell you that go and have paracetamol, which is a
Mm-hmm.
generic name. So they are like general physicians, they are doctors, right?
Correct.
They will give you a prescription. You go and buy what medicine you need to buy,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it works in that way. And CFP professionals either they take the license themselves or otherwise they appoint people who are licensed if they are entrepreneurs, right? So they when they practice, they can appoint and they can have the right set of people who carry those licenses to sell the product in the market. So it works in that way right now. However, the market is evolving, India is evolving, India needs to grow as a financially aware country, as a financially, I would say, sustainable country for the future. In fact, India has the power to become the hub for financial planning and financial advice in the entire Asia. I'll tell you by 2028 will be the fourth largest wealth and financial planning market in the world. Currently, we have $385.85 billion market, which is under advice,
Mm-hmm.
right? We double of that by 2028. It's growing in that way,
Okay.
right? So we'll become the fourth largest market globally. However, the advisory landscape is slightly unstructured right now. There are efforts, and we are very much here to complement the regulators to support them in terms of ensuring that we are able to create the right robust standards, robust ethical standards, which are client-centric and very clearly focused on ensuring the growth of this country towards Viksit Bharat 2047. Because we understand that if you are able to educate people on their finances, India will reach Viksit Bharat by 2035, not 2047.
Mm.
Each individual in the country needs to know about finances. I think if this effort is being done and regulators are very clear they want to do it, we are very clear we would like to support them in implementing all these steps towards a financially aware and financially sustainable Viksit Bharat of tomorrow. Yeah.
Got it. The other aspect you brought up was around unqualified advice. I think it's a epidemic in India, especially in banks. Everybody who works in bank, they are given mandate to sell certain products, and what ends up happening is they become unsolicited, unqualified advisors to the people they are serving. For example, you go to a bank for getting a locker, then the bank manager will sell you a insurance policy or a mutual fund, and it's very much linked to their incentives, and they end up mis-selling the product to the customer. What would be your comment on that? Should bank employees and all the people who are in the financial domain, they become CFPs, I mean, or should they stop selling these products to the, or rather mis-selling these products to the customers?
Yeah, that's a very good point. They should stop mis-selling. Selling is something they have to do because that's the way in which they get their revenues, right? So that's really very important. However, you made a very right point that in India, the financial services industry has actually gone through lots of ups and downs from 2000, 2001 onwards when new banks came, the foreign banks came, and a couple of things happened wherein selling was the top priority. Targets were given as the priority. And that's why a lot of unethical and integrity matters happen, integrity related matters. However, now banks are very clear that they don't want to get into such kind of an activity. And that's the reason why SBI is working with us, right?
Mhm.
It's not that banks decided on their own. Now the customers are asking. So let me quote a very interesting example here.
Sure.
Whether you are US returned or returned by US, okay, that's just
Yeah,
read
yeah.
between whether you are US returned or returned by US, right? You know about CFP professional. The CFP professionals are definitely there in US. A lot of people understand this. In fact, a lot of NRIs around the world who are now coming back to India, they are the ones who are telling the banks that no, I don't want an advice from anybody else but a CFP professional only. That is the kind of demand which is coming up. Why? Because they understand that a CFP professional is ethical, right? And they always keep client interest first.
Hmm.
Because see, it is not about just selling today. See, financial planning is not about money management. It is about managing your life.
Right.
And for managing somebody's life, you cannot sell one product today and vanish tomorrow. You
Hmm.
have to remain with that person throughout their life. So you're partner for life for them, right? You're always there, whatever age, whatever time, or whatever situation they are. Happy moment, sad moment,
Hmm.
whatever happens in life, each moment will take away your money,
Right.
right? If it is a happy moment, celebration, but you spend. If there is a sad moment, you're not celebrating, then also you spend, right?
Hmm.
So obviously, for that, if you are not planned properly, then you will go ahead and have a lot of difficulty. We did a lot of good surveys in India. 2023, we did a value of financial planning survey in India, and that survey very clearly indicated that people who took the advice from a CFP professional, whatever money they had paid as a fee, it
Hmm.
was much lesser than the cost they were paying towards taking an unqualified advice or by doing it on their own, right? So people actually lose a lot of money because where they try to do it on their own. As you rightly mentioned that AI can tell you that, okay, these can be your health concerns, but AI cannot tell you that what medicines you should have. For that, you have to go and meet a doctor only,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's really very important. Yeah.
Got it. So speaking of AI, that brings me to a very interesting topic, which is the new world of technology which is coming up. A lot of retail investment apps are coming up. They have their robo advisory features, which would shortlist stocks to invest in real time, and a lot of technology intervention is happening. But at the same time, technology is not accountable. It sometimes makes blunders. It can make your money go away, like it will make you bankrupt also in a instant. uh, so what is your thought on how AI is both disrupting the space of financial planners, and at the same time how is it making, so like you gave the doctor's example, AI I think now AI can give you much better advice in diagnosing a disease, or maybe prescribing a medication, but you'd still go to a doctor because you wouldn't trust a AI. It doesn't have accountability. Having said that, how would you say the same thing about the financial planners?
Sure, sure. And let me take you back to the history. Once again, Priranjan, AI was invented in the year 1955. Yeah.
Mm.
The majority of the changes which came in AI have happened in the last 10 years. In fact, robo-advisory came in the year 2009.
Okay.
Yeah. However, there was not much of an impact. Why? Because, say, for example, if you want to buy gold today, do you go to Amazon or you go to a gold shop?
Yeah, I'll go to gold shop. Yeah.
Yeah, because you would like to have that personalized touch, right? So practically, what happens is that AI is artificial, definitely.
Mm.
AI can take away a lot of, I would say, pains which are there with us, right? So things which are mundane, like data management, right,
Mm-hmm.
or say, data analytics, right? AI can be very helpful there. They can actually help you create the right MIS. They can actually help you create a right plan
Mm-hmm.
or a document, help you in risk assessments, etc. However, what AI cannot do is that AI cannot give you the right decisions because AI is still dependent on what is there on World Wide Web. It's not
Mm-hmm.
outside the World Wide Web, right?
Right.
AI can also be biased. Think about it. The coder who is coding, if they put a bias in AI, then the results which will come out will always be biased. That's why you need a human mind. Anything which is artificial cannot take over a human mind. This is something which we have to understand. Why? Because if AI takes over the human mind, it means as if humans will take over the God who is the creator. We are the creators of AI, right? So they will never be able to take over us. But what they can do is that they can make our job much more easier. Robots are coming. We should be happy with that. The good thing with them is that, yes, they can work 24 into 7. They don't need any kind of salaries or maybe salary hikes, right? They don't need smoke breaks or coffee breaks or tea breaks or lunch breaks or anything, right? 365 days, 24 into 7. They can do what you want them to do. However, you need to understand it in the right way before you give them the command.
Mm-hmm.
So, for a financial planner, whether they like it or not, they should know AI. People who do not know AI, they'll be out of the market. For me, somebody who doesn't understand AI as a tool is the one who is illiterate for the future, right? So it's really very important that we go ahead and learn this tool for our benefit, use it to our benefit and our clients' benefit. However, the importance of human touch, the emotional connect, right, which a professional gives to the client is something which will always be there. It can never go. This is something which is going to grow with time. In fact, the evolution is that jobs are becoming better, jobs are more enriched for people at large, right? You'll see a lot of evolution in their job descriptions going forward with this because AI has entered. So it's like we should understand that, okay, if I work for 8 hours in my organization, right, and then AI can do everything for me in say half an hour, then how do I manage the rest of the 7.5 or rest of the hours that I have? I can use it productively by working
Yeah.
on strategy, working on other macro level activities, right, which can actually help me do better things for the clients for the future.
Mm.
So that's AI for us, whether we like it or not. It will be there with us and it will evolve with time. If we don't evolve with time with them, then we are out of the market.
Got it. Finally, I want to understand what are the use cases of the CFP certification. I mean, you told us the bare minimum qualification or bare minimum requirement to pursue this certificate, but who are the ideal people who should pursue this certification? Is it the aspiring financial planners only, or is it also the YouTuber who are distributing free GAN on YouTube, which stocks to buy, or is it a good entrepreneurship use case as well? People who would like to um, open their own funds and so on using your certificate.
Okay. So one thing that I just wanted to share that there's a certificate, there's a certification, and both are very different from each other. Certificate can be taken by either writing exam or not writing exam, doesn't matter.
Mm.
Certification actually asks you to go through the rigor, wherein you have to go through education, then your examination, then your ethics and experience requirements, right? And then certification also asks you to go for continuous professional development. You cannot stop. but a certificate stops as and when you have done it. So you can do a half an hour course and get a certificate
Right.
that will remain as a paper, but a certification also becomes your designation for life, right?
Mm.
So both are different from each other. So thought of just clarifying that. The
Right.
other thing is that when you look at the CFP professionals in the market, I have got doctors, I have got engineers, I have got army officers, naval officers, air force officers who have done the course. I have got scientists who
Mm.
have become CFP professionals. People from all walks of life have entered into this profession,
Mm.
right? In fact, I see a lot of senior people who are MDs and CEOs of some organization, and they might be in the, say, age group of 55 to 58. They are pursuing a course because once they retire, they can use it as a second inning tool for themselves because they can start their own practice by
Mm-hmm.
starting their own enterprise, right? So we have got more than 3,215 plus professionals in the country today. 50% of them are practicing professionals and 50% are working. People who are working, for them, there's a message that we have got more jobs and less number of people to apply to those jobs, and the salaries are pretty decent. On the other hand, people who are practicing, and that's the beauty of this qualification, earn more than the people who are employed.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So they manage large AUMs, they're supporting their clients, working day in, day out with them, and helping them to make their lives better.
Any popular use cases of yeah, I understand the core use case of this certification is to advise other people on finances, but have there been YouTubers who have started their YouTube channels after pursuing this course, or maybe are there fund managers who have started mutual funds after pursuing this certificate, or any other such examples?
So there are people who have managed various organizations. In fact, one of our CFP professionals managed the treasury of a bank like Axis Bank for 15 years,
Mm.
right? So, and then there are MDs and CEOs of some of the companies who are CFP professionals themselves. So we have got various such cases, definitely, because the certification is very powerful. As I said, it's a globally recognized certification, a gold standard certification in the world. We
Mm.
have got more than 230,000 plus professionals who are working across 28 territories. When I say 28 territories, a territory can be a good combination of some countries too,
Mm.
right? So that's the way in which the certification is spread across the world. And as I said, it's like a global passport for people for their careers. They can actually go ahead and have opportunities outside the country also. However, uh, when you look at moving out of India to any other country, you need visa. So visa for our professionals is understanding the local regulations and compliances because each of the countries have got a separate local regulations and compliances. Professionals have moved out also. So as I mentioned, so use cases are when I went to Australia, I saw some of the CFP professionals who were in India who became a CFP professional here and moved to Australia, or they are in Brazil or in US or in Canada, UK. So they are working across at various places. And now with the advent of Gift City coming up, so
Mm.
you will see so many new people coming up over there, starting their enterprises, becoming principal officers,
Mm.
distributing products, giving investment advice. All those things will happen in that market. And then I'm sure in the domestic market also, we will have the right regulations and approvals in place in times to come. Yeah.
Understood. Finally, before we close, any last message to our listeners around financial planning, around the certification, and any other general advice that you would leave?
Yeah, so it's just wanted to share that if you have got a lot of money, consult a CFP professional. If you do not have any money, then definitely consult a CFP professional because something for which we are not an expert, we should go and meet an expert for getting that job done for us.
Mm.
The other thing is that financial planning is like your fundamental right. You need to ask for it, right? It's a need. It's not want. It's not demand. It's your need. As you need water when you're thirsty, you need a financial plan to make your life better. So
Mhm.
that's really very important. The third thing is that study this,
Okay.
right? Wherever you are, whether you are in school, college, university, or working professional, or you are an entrepreneur, study this as a life skill for your own benefit. You might not be interested in becoming a professional, doesn't matter. Learn these areas, right? Have a clear concepts, and then manage your lives better. At least, if not anybody else, you'll be able to do it for yourself. That's the power of this qualification.
All right. Thanks for joining the session, Krishan. Pleasure talking to you. And I think the work you are doing is really taking India forward, making India more financially aware, and bringing out the new industry of financial planning. Soon, very soon, I think in US and other developed countries, it's a common practice to have financial planners managing wealth of almost every individual. But in India, it's still evolving. But I think it's the institutions like yours who are enabling that. Thanks for taking India forward.
Thank you, Priranjan. It was an honor to speak with you, and looking forward to meeting you soon again. Take care.
Thank you.